The day my parents stole my future, they did it over breakfast. Mom stirred her coffee with practiced casualness while Dad cleared his throat 3 times, his tell when he's about to deliver bad news. I should have known something was wrong when Charlie showed up for breakfast on a Tuesday. My sister hadn't done anything before noon since dropping out of community college. I'm Summer, and until that morning, I was 3 months away from starting university with a fully funded college account I'd watched grow since I was 6. 15 years of birthday checks from relatives, summer job savings, and my parents' monthly contributions, all earmarked for my education. We need to discuss something important, Dad said, gripping his mug like a shield. There's been a change in plans regarding your college fund. The toast in my mouth turned to sawdust. What kind of change? Charlie couldn't contain her smirk. She was practically vibrating in her chair, phone in hand as always. Mom reached over and squeezed her shoulder, their secret language of approval I'd watched play out 1,000 times before. Your sister has an amazing opportunity, Mom beamed. A chance to build something extraordinary. We've decided to reallocate your college fund to support her influencer career launch. The words hit like separate punches. Reallocate, support, launch. My hands went cold. You're joking. I looked at each of their faces, waiting for the punchline. That's my money, my entire future. Don't be so dramatic, Charlie rolled her eyes. This is an investment. Once I hit 500K followers, I'll make that money back in like 2 months. Then I can help pay for your school. You've never held a job longer than 3 weeks, I said flatly. You couldn't even finish a semester of college. Because college is for people who can't think bigger. Charlie's voice rose an octave. My management team says I have star quality. They're setting up collaborations with major brands already. Dad cleared his throat again. Summer, we know this is a shock, but your sister has a real shot here. The influencer market is booming, and with the right backing, my college fund. My voice sounded distant, even to myself. Everything I saved, everything you promised was protected for my education. Oh, honey, Mom sighed that martyred sigh I'd grown to hate. This is what family does. We support each other's dreams. Why are you being so bitter? Bitter? I stood up slowly, my chair scraping against the floor. You're stealing my future to fund her Instagram fantasy, and I'm bitter for objecting? It's not stealing, Charlie snapped. God, you're so dramatic. This is an investment in our family's future, but you've always been jealous of my potential. I looked at my sister, really looked at her, the carefully angled face, the practiced pout, the phone permanently attached to her hand like a life support system, then at my parents, who were watching me with that familiar expression of disappointed expectation, waiting for me to fall in line, like always. How much? I asked quietly. Mom shifted uncomfortably. What? How much of my fund did you take? All of it, Dad admitted. The management team required a significant initial investment too. All of it. I repeated the words, letting them sink in. $87,000. Gone. Not gone, Charlie protested. Invested. In me. In us. Why can't you just be happy for me? I picked up my bag, slinging it over my shoulder with mechanical precision. Every movement felt underwater, distant and slow. Summer, where are you going? Mom's voice held that edge of command that usually made me freeze. We're not finished discussing this. Yes, we are. I walked to the door, then turned back one last time. You've made your choice very clear. Don't be like this, Dad called after me. We're family. I closed the door without responding. In my car, I sat perfectly still for 5 minutes, hands gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. Then I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. The college savings account showed a balance of zero zeros, transferred out yesterday afternoon. My fingers moved on autopilot, opening a new browser tab. I remembered a conversation I'd overheard months ago, Charlie arguing with someone about credit lines and business loans. Names were mentioned, companies that dealt with debt acquisition and recovery. I started typing, creating a new email address. Then a message. Seeking information regarding fraudulent business practices and liability verification. My hands had stopped shaking. The numbness was fading, replaced by something colder, more focused. They wanted to invest in Charlie's future. Fine, I'd make sure it was an education none of them would forget. 6 months later, I watched my sister's latest video from my cramped apartment bedroom, sharing a wall so thin I could hear my roommate's TV through it. Charlie was touring her luxury apartment hall, showing off designer furniture I recognized from mom and dad's credit card statements. And this is my content creation space, she chirped, spinning her phone around a room full of ring lights and branded backdrops. Remember to like and subscribe, loves. We're so close to hitting 100K. I closed the tab and checked my work schedule. Between my barista job, evening tutoring, and weekend data entry work, I was barely keeping up with my scaled down community college course load. But I was keeping up. My phone buzzed, a text from Brianna, my best friend who worked for a social media marketing firm. You need to see this. Coffee? 20 minutes later, I was sliding into a booth at our usual spot, far from anywhere Charlie might show up for an impromptu lifestyle shoot. Your sister's metrics are fake, Brianna said without preamble, sliding her laptop across the table. Look at these engagement rates, the follower growth patterns. It's all bought and botted. I leaned forward, scanning the analytics. How bad? Bad enough that 3 brands have already flagged her account for potential fraud. She's on multiple watch lists. Brianna took a sip of her latte. But that's not the worst part. Check this out. She pulled up a series of documents: business registration papers, credit applications, sponsorship contracts. My stomach turned as I recognized my parents' signatures. She's listed them as business partners, Brianna explained, making them liable for everything. But these signatures, they don't match their real ones. How did you get these? Let's just say her management team isn't as professional as they claim. They've been shopping around looking for new representation because the old one quit. Apparently, Charlie hasn't paid them in months. My phone buzzed again. Mom calling. I declined it and watched as 3 texts rolled in. Family dinner tonight? Non negotiable. Your sister has exciting news? Don't be difficult about this. I showed Brianna the texts. She winced. You going? Have to. Need to see how deep this goes. That evening, I parked outside my parents' house, noting the new luxury SUV in the driveway, another business expense for Charlie's image, no doubt. Inside, Mom was arranging a spread that looked suspiciously like Instagram bait. Charlie was already recording, narrating each dish for her cooking with family content. Summer, Mom called out. Come stand behind your sister. She's doing a live. I'll pass. I sat at the far end of the table. What's the big news? Dad emerged from his office looking more worn than I remembered. Let's eat first. Family time. Can't eat yet, Charlie snapped. The lighting isn't right for the thumbnail. 20 minutes later, after Charlie finally got her perfect shot, Mom couldn't contain herself anymore. Your sister just signed with premium lifestyle brands. They're going to sponsor her whole winter collection. I watched Charlie preen. They're sending me to Aspen for the launch, all expenses paid. Well, mostly paid. Mom and Dad just need to co sign a few things. How much? I asked quietly. Don't start, Mom warned. This is a celebration. I'm just asking how much more they need to invest in your career. Charlie slammed her fork down. Why do you always have to rain on everything? You're just jealous because I'm actually doing something with my life while you're stuck making coffee. At least I'm making something real, I replied, unlike your fake followers and forged documents. The table went silent. Charlie's face went white, then red. What are you talking about? Dad asked slowly. Nothing, Charlie said quickly. She's just being nasty because she's bitter about having my future stolen. You're right, I am bitter. I stood up. But at least I'm not committing fraud. That's enough, Mom shouted. Summer, if you can't be supportive. Supportive? I laughed. Like those sponsorship contracts you supposedly signed? The ones making you liable for her debts? What debts? Dad's voice had an edge I'd never heard before. Charlie? But my sister was already rushing from the table, phone in hand, probably drafting another inspirational post about haters and staying positive. I grabbed my bag. You might want to check your credit reports and maybe hire a lawyer. Summer, wait, Dad called after me. But I was already walking out, my phone buzzing with a new message from an unknown number. This is Dominic from Shepherd Recovery. Regarding your tip about fraudulent business practices, we'd like to discuss this further. I smiled as I typed back, Let's talk. Don't let the haters dim your light. Charlie's latest Instagram story blared across my screen, complete with sparkle filters and an inspirational music track. Sometimes people just can't handle seeing you shine. Stay tuned for a major announcement about my journey. I switched apps and opened my secure email. Dominic's message was waiting. Documents received. Evidence of signature forgery is clear. Moving forward with credit investigations. My phone buzzed, Brianna calling. Your sister's having a meltdown at the office, she said without greeting. Premium lifestyle brands just pulled their contract, something about irregularities in her engagement metrics. How bad? She threw a smoothie at the marketing director and threatened to expose them for sabotaging her brand. Security had to escort her out. I leaned back in my library chair, surrounded by scholarship applications. Any mention of the credit issues? Not yet. But rumor is several brands are preparing to demand refunds for sponsored posts that didn't meet contracted engagement requirements. My laptop pinged with a new email, acceptance to the honors program with a full scholarship. I forwarded it to my new secure student account, separated from any family connections. Have to go, I told Brianna. Class in 10. Walking across campus, I spotted another of Charlie's stories. Taking a mental health break from the toxic energy. Real ones know my worth. The comments were brutal, calling out bot followers and fake sponsorships. My phone rang. Dad's number. Summer? His voice sounded strained. We need to talk about your sister. I'm in class. Please. She's. Something's wrong. The bank called about some loans we supposedly guaranteed. Your mother's worried sick. Sounds like a family emergency. Better call your favorite daughter. Summer, please. We're refinancing the house to cover some of these expenses. We need your help talking sense into her. I stopped walking. Your what? It's just temporary. Once Charlie's new deals come through. What new deals? The ones she lost today when she assaulted a marketing executive. Silence on the line. Then, how did you know about that? Doesn't matter. What matters is you're still enabling her. Even now, she's your sister. And I was your daughter, past tense. I ended the call. That evening, my laptop lit up with notifications. Charlie's main sponsor had publicly cut ties, citing fraudulent activity. Her follower count was dropping as bot accounts were purged. The comments were a bloodbath. A text from Dominic. Credit investigation triggered multiple red flags, liens being prepared. I replied, keep me anonymous. Always, but they'll figure it out eventually. Let them, just not yet. I opened my banking app, checking my new secured accounts. My scholarship money was safe, protected from family reallocation. Three separate part time jobs were slowly rebuilding my savings. My phone exploded with texts from mom. Your sister needs you. Family stands together. Why aren't you answering? She made some mistakes, but she's learning. I typed back one response. Actions have consequences. Brianna sent a video clip. Charlie outside the premium lifestyle brand's office screaming about conspiracies and jealousy. The comment section was ruthless. Influencer meltdown. Fake followers exposed. Check her parents' credit cards. Another call from dad. This time I answered. The bank is asking about business loans, he said, voice shaking. Large ones, with our signatures on them. Interesting. Summer, if you know something. I know you stole my future to fund her delusions. I know you're still trying to save her from consequences. And I know karma's finally catching up. We're your parents. Were. You were my parents. Now you're just Charlie's enablers. How's that working out? I hung up as another notification popped up. A legal notice forwarded by Dominic. The first creditor was moving to collect, targeting all parties listed on the fraudulent documents. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Charlie. I know you're behind this somehow. You've always been jealous, always tried to ruin everything, but you won't win. I smiled, thinking of the paper trail Dominic was following. The forged signatures, the fake contracts, the house my parents had just refinanced, unknowingly securing more of Charlie's toxic debt. You're right about one thing, I texted back. I was always jealous, but now I'm just watching karma do its work. I blocked her number and opened my laptop to finish my scholarship paperwork. Outside, a debt collection notice was probably already heading toward our parents' freshly mortgaged house. Karma, indeed. You're sure about this? Brianna asked, sliding a business card across the coffee shop table. Once her old management agency goes public with the evidence, there's no taking it back. I pocketed the card. They were going to expose her anyway. I'm just making sure they have everything they need. The lawsuit will destroy her chances of ever working in social media again. Good. My phone lit up with an email notification from Dominic. IRS tip received. Investigation pending. You might want to warn your parents about their tax returns. I closed the email without responding. Let them find out the hard way, just like I did. Brianna leaned forward. Speaking of parents, have you seen their house lately? No. Why? She pulled up a local real estate listing on her phone. They're trying to sell, way under market value. Desperate move. I studied the listing photos. The house where I'd grown up, staged with Charlie's influencer furniture, now marked urgent sale in red letters. Your sister's still posting, by the way, Brianna added. But it's getting weird. All conspiracy theories about industry sabotage and secret enemies. I opened Instagram. Charlie's latest post showed her mascara streaked face. They're watching me, following me. My own family won't help, but I know who's behind this. The truth will come out. She's cracking, Brianna observed. She's always been cracked. Now everyone else can see it too. My phone rang. Dad again. Fourth time this week. This time, I answered. What? Summer, please. His voice was ragged. We need to talk. Face to face. Nothing to talk about. The IRS is auditing us. The bank is threatening foreclosure. Your sister, she's not well. We need your help. Like I needed yours? Please. He paused. Dinner? Tonight. Let us explain. I thought about the management agency's lawsuit, ready to drop tomorrow. The IRS investigation gaining steam. The creditors circling closer. Fine, 7 o'clock. Thank you, sweetheart. Your mother will. I hung up. Brianna raised an eyebrow. You're really going? I want to see their faces when it all falls apart. That evening, I parked outside a mid range restaurant, not the expensive ones Charlie used to demand for her food blog content. Mom and Dad were already at a corner table, looking smaller somehow. Older. Summer. Mom half rose, arms out for a hug I didn't return. Thank you for coming. Make it quick. I have studying to do. Dad cleared his throat. We know we made mistakes. With your college fund, with enabling your sister, we're trying to fix things, but what? Your golden child turned out to be fool's gold? She needs help, Mom insisted. Professional help, but we can't afford it now because the restaurant door slammed open. Charlie stormed in, wild eyed and disheveled. Having a family meeting without me? She looked around frantically. Planning more sabotage? Charlie, please. Dad started. Sit down. No, I know what's happening. You're all plotting against me, but I have proof. She pulled out her phone, hands shaking. Screenshots of everything. The conspiracy to destroy my career. Other diners were staring. A manager approached cautiously. Ma'am, I need you to lower your voice. Don't touch me, Charlie shrieked. They sent you too, didn't they? Everyone's trying to silence me. I stood up slowly. You did this to yourself, Charlie. Every fake follower, every forged signature, every maxed out credit card. Liar. You've always been jealous, always trying to make me look bad. I didn't have to try, I said quietly. You managed that all on your own. Mom grabbed my arm. Summer, please, help us fix this. I pulled away. Fix what? The fraud? The theft? The years of enabling her while throwing me under the bus? We're family, Dad pleaded. Family? I laughed. Family doesn't steal futures. Family doesn't forge signatures. Family doesn't destroy lives for Instagram likes. My phone buzzed. Dominic's message, lawsuit filed, goes public tomorrow morning. I looked at my sister, still ranting about conspiracies, at my parents, desperate to save their favorite daughter from consequences. Enjoy dinner, I said, dropping cash for my untouched water. You might want to save the receipt. The IRS will need it. As I walked out, Charlie's voice followed me. This is all your fault. I'll expose you. I smiled, thinking of tomorrow's headlines. She had no idea how right she was. Influencer fraud scandal. Management agency files $1 million lawsuit. The headlines splashed across every local news site. I sipped my morning coffee, watching the story spread. Brianna had already sent me 5 different links, each one more damaging than the last. My phone lit up. Mom calling. I let it ring. Three texts followed. How could you let this happen? Your sister is devastated. We raised you better than this, I typed back. You didn't raise me at all. You were too busy enabling Charlie. The lawsuit details were brutal: forged contracts, fake brand deals, fraudulent financial statements. My parents' names appeared repeatedly as knowing participants in the scheme. Dominic called around noon. IRS is moving faster than expected, he said. They're focusing on your parents' tax returns. Seems they claimed business losses for expenses they never authorized. Thanks to Charlie's creative bookkeeping? Among other things, the house sale won't cover it. Not even close. My phone buzzed with another call. Dad this time. Against my better judgment, I answered. Summer, he sounded desperate. Please, we need to talk, face to face. We tried that yesterday. Remember how well it went? Things are different now. This lawsuit, the IRS, we need to understand what's happening. I think you understand perfectly. Please. His voice cracked. Just meet us for dinner. One more time. I thought about the next phase of evidence Dominic was preparing to release. The satisfaction of watching them squirm might be worth it. Fine, same place. 7 o'clock. This time I arrived early and chose a table with a clear view of the entrance. Mom and Dad walked in looking haunted, followed by a subdued Charlie. No phone in sight for once. Before you start, I said as they sat down, remember that this was your choice. All of it. Our choice? Mom's voice shook. We didn't choose to be sued, to be investigated by the IRS. No, you chose to steal my college fund, to enable Charlie's fraud, to forge documents and lie about finances. We didn't forge anything, Dad protested. That was me, Charlie interrupted quietly. I forged the signatures, made up the contracts, but only because I knew it would work out. The followers were coming, the brand deals were real. Nothing about you is real, I said. Never has been. That's not fair, Mom started. Your sister has talent. Talent? I laughed. At what? Filtering photos, buying fake followers, destroying our family's finances? You're just jealous because. Because what? Because you stole my future? Because you always chose her? Because you're finally facing consequences? Dad reached across the table. Summer, please. We can fix this. As a family. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. See this? My new accounts, protected from family reallocation, my scholarships, secured in a trust you can't touch, my future, built back up without any of you. You're being cruel, Mom whispered. Cruel? I showed them my old college fund statement. Like this kind of cruel? Or like forging signatures cruel? Or destroying credit scores cruel? Charlie started crying. I was going to pay it back once I got famous. You were never going to be famous. You were just going to keep taking and lying until everything collapsed. Well, congratulations. We're at the collapse. What do you want from us? Dad asked quietly. Want? I don't want anything. I'm just here to watch karma finally catch up. You did this, Charlie suddenly hissed. You tipped off the agency, the IRS. You're behind all of it. I stood up slowly. You know what's funny? For once, you're actually right about something. I did help karma along. Consider it my investment in justice. You destroyed us, Mom whispered. No, you destroyed yourselves. I just made sure there were witnesses. My phone buzzed. Dominic again. Second wave of evidence released. Tax fraud investigation expanding. You might want to lawyer up, I said, gathering my things. The IRS doesn't accept Instagram followers as payment. Summer, wait, Dad called after me. We're still family. I turned back one last time. No, we're not. We stopped being family the day you chose her fantasies over my reality. Enjoy the consequences. As I walked out, I heard Charlie start sobbing again, Mom trying to comfort her, Dad calling after me, but I didn't look back. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt, they're meant to burn. The first debt collector showed up at Charlie's luxury apartment on a Tuesday. I knew because she live streamed the whole thing, shrieking about harassment while the officer calmly posted notices on her door. They can't do this to me, she wailed to her dwindling followers. This is targeted persecution. Brianna forwarded me clips from the stream. She's lost it completely. The comments are brutal. My phone buzzed with Dominic's update. Collection agencies moving on all properties. Parents' house is next. I was in the library working on my honors thesis when mom's texts started flooding in. There are people at our house. They're saying something about asset seizure. Why won't you answer? We need help! I muted the conversation and opened my email. The scholarship committee had approved my application for graduate school funding. Full ride with a stipend. My future rebuilt from scratch. Your sister's being evicted, Brianna messaged. Live streaming it right now. It's intense. I clicked the link. Charlie was having a meltdown in her driveway, surrounded by repossessed furniture and designer clothes with tags still attached. This is illegal, she screamed at the camera. My lawyers will destroy you all. What lawyers? Someone commented. The ones suing you for fraud? My phone rang. Dad's office number this time. What? They're auditing the whole company, he said, voice hollow. Because of the business expenses we claimed for Charlie's activities, I'm being placed on leave. Sounds rough. Summer, please. We need nothing from me, not anymore. I hung up as another notification popped up, an email from one of Charlie's creditors, forwarded by Dominic. Asset recovery proceeding against all listed financial sponsors, liens being placed on properties and accounts. Brianna called moments later. Your mom just got escorted out of her workplace. Something about financial activities under investigation. Not surprising. She used her work computer to help Charlie create fake invoices. How did you know? I didn't. But Dominic's team found the digital trail when they looked. My phone lit up with another stream notification. Charlie was now sitting in her empty apartment, mascara running. They took everything, she sobbed to her phone. My furniture, my clothes, my career, all because of jealous haters trying to destroy me. The comments scrolled fast. Girl, you destroyed yourself. What about your parents' money you stole? Karma comes for everyone. I closed the app and opened my secure email. Time for the final piece. The thin envelope I'd been preparing, filled with carefully selected screenshots and documents. Every breadcrumb I'd laid, every anonymous tip I'd orchestrated, all traced back to their own actions. You sure about this? Dominic messaged. Once they know it was you, they deserve to know exactly how their house of cards fell. I addressed the envelope to my parents' house, no return address needed. Inside, a simple note. You chose this path. I just documented the journey. That evening, more texts from mom. The bank is foreclosing. Your sister's having a breakdown. How could you let this happen to us? We're your family, I typed back one response. No, you're Charlie's family. I'm just the daughter whose future you sacrificed. Brianna sent another update. Your sister's management agency just released more evidence. Emails showing your parents knew about the fraud months ago. Of course they knew, I replied. They just never thought they'd face consequences. My phone buzzed with a voicemail from Dad. Summer, we found the envelope, the evidence. It was you all along, wasn't it? Guiding the investigators, feeding information to the creditors. How could you do this to your own family? I saved the message. Proof that even now, they still didn't understand. It was never about what I did to them, it was about what they did to themselves. A final text from Charlie appeared. I hope you're happy. You've ruined everything. I smiled, thinking of my secured scholarships, my rebuilt future, my life free from their manipulation. No, I typed back. I just showed everyone who you really are. You did the ruining all by yourself. I blocked her number and opened my laptop to finish my thesis. The title page glowed on the screen. The Psychology of Social Media Fraud, a Case Study in Consequences. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just watching karma work, it's helping karma find its target. My graduation ceremony fell on a bright Sunday morning. As I adjusted my cap in the mirror, my phone lit up with Brianna's message. They're here, back row. I didn't need to ask who. From my position in the graduate seating area, I could see them, Mom, Dad, and Charlie, looking out of place among the celebrating families. Mom's designer clothes replaced by department store clearance. Dad's confident posture now stooped. Charlie without her phone for once, wearing an outfit that wasn't meant for cameras. Want me to have security remove them? Brianna texted. No, let them watch. The ceremony proceeded with its usual pomp. When they called my name for honors recognition, I heard Mom's sharp intake of breath carrying across the auditorium. graduating summa cum laude with a full scholarship to graduate school. I accepted my diploma without looking their way, but I could feel their eyes on me, finally seeing what they'd tried to destroy. Afterward, during the reception, they approached cautiously, like wounded animals testing dangerous ground. Summer, Mom started. You look successful, I suggested. Accomplished everything you tried to prevent me from becoming. Dad stepped forward. We got your envelope, the evidence, the trail of breadcrumbs leading to your own choices. I smiled. Interesting how karma works, isn't it? Charlie hung back, uncharacteristically quiet. Her latest attempt at online reinvention, posting motivational content about rising from adversity, had failed spectacularly when her fraud history went viral. Was it worth it? Mom asked, voice trembling. Destroying your family? I pulled out my phone and opened a folder of screenshots. Let's see. Here's you transferring my college fund. Here's dad signing off on Charlie's fraudulent contracts. Here's both of you lying to creditors. We were trying to support your sister's dreams. No, you were enabling her delusions while crushing mine, but karma has a way of balancing the scales. The house is in foreclosure, Dad said quietly. My career is over. Your sister's being investigated for fraud. Is this what you wanted? I looked at each of them in turn. What I wanted was parents who believed in me, a sister who didn't steal my future, a family that didn't sacrifice one child for another's Instagram fantasy. I was going to pay it back, Charlie finally spoke, voice small. Once I got famous, famous for what? Fake followers, forged documents, failed sponsorships. You set us up, Mom accused, fed information to investigators. Wrong. I held up my phone. I just documented what you were already doing. Every lie, every fraud, every betrayal. It was all you. I just made sure there was evidence. We're still your family, Dad pleaded. No, you're the people who taught me that karma needs receipts. I pulled out a thick envelope. Speaking of which, inside were printouts, every step of their downfall, annotated with dates and decisions. Their faces paled as they flipped through the pages. You planned this, Charlie whispered. All of it. Actually, you did. I just kept good records. Summer, please. Mom reached for me. We can still fix this. I stepped back. It's already fixed. My future is secured. Without your help. My life is built. Without your interference and your consequences. I gestured to the documents. They're all your own work. You set us up. Charlie's voice rose, drawing stares. You ruined everything. No, you ruined everything. I just made sure everyone saw how you did it. Dad grabbed my arm as I turned to leave. You can't just walk away from family. I pulled free. Watch me. Oh, and one more thing. I handed them one final document, my bank statement showing my rebuilt savings, the exact amount they'd stolen, earned back through my own work. Consider it my graduation gift to myself. Proof that I never needed your kind of support. As I walked away, Charlie called after me. You'll regret this. Family is forever. I turned back one last time. No, Charlie. Karma is forever. Family is just who you choose to be when karma comes calling. Brianna was waiting by my car. You okay? I looked back at the three diminished figures, still clutching the evidence of their own destruction. Better than okay, I'm free. My phone buzzed with a final text from Mom. What happens now? I typed back. Now? You live with your choices, just like I had to live with mine. Then I drove away, leaving them with nothing but the truth they'd tried so hard to avoid. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just serving karma, it's making sure everyone knows exactly who ordered it. The airport terminal buzzed with early morning energy as I checked my flight status to London. My graduate fellowship started next week, fully funded with a stipend that would let me live comfortably while pursuing my PhD. Last chance to back out, Brianna said, hugging me goodbye. Though I have to admit, watching karma work was pretty satisfying. My phone lit up with a news alert. Social media influencer pleads guilty to fraud charges. Charlie's latest viral moment, though not the kind she'd dreamed of. Speaking of karma, I showed Brianna the headline. Guess she's finally famous. Summer? A familiar voice cut through the terminal noise. I turned to see Dominic walking toward us, looking professional in his investigator's suit. Didn't expect to see you here, I said. Wanted to give you an update before you left. He pulled out his tablet. Your parents' house sold at auction, barely covered half their debt. They're moving into a rental next week. And Charlie? Community service, mandatory financial counseling, and she's banned from monetizing social media for 5 years. He smiled slightly, though her follower count is mostly prison bots now anyway. My phone buzzed, mom calling. Again. Still not answering? Brianna asked. Nothing left to say. I declined the call and watched 3 texts pop up. Please don't leave like this. We understand now what we did wrong. Give us a chance to make it right. Dominic glanced at my phone. They never really got it, did they? That it wasn't about the money. No, it was about choices. I pulled up my banking app one last time. Their choice to steal my future, my choice to rebuild it, their choice to enable fraud, my choice to expose it. Final boarding call for Flight 2317 to London Heathrow, the announcer called. That's me. I hugged Brianna goodbye. Wait, Dominic said, pulling out an envelope. One more thing you should see. Inside was a printout of Charlie's latest social media attempt, a private account with barely 50 followers. Her bio read, Learning from mistakes. Sorry isn't enough. She's been trying to contact you, Dominic said, through legitimate channels this time. Too little? Too late? That's your choice to make. My phone buzzed again, Dad this time. We were wrong. About everything. I know sorry isn't enough, but I thought about choices, about consequences, about the thin line between justice and vengeance. Tell me something, I said to Dominic. Was it worth it? Helping me set up the dominoes? He considered for a moment. You didn't set up anything that wasn't already there. You just refused to keep hiding it. Another announcement for my flight. Final call. I opened my phone's blocked list and stared at the familiar names. Mom, Dad, Charlie. My finger hovered over the unblock button. You don't owe them forgiveness, Brianna said quietly. I know. I put the phone away without changing anything. But I don't owe them anger either. I picked up my carry-on and headed toward the gate. Behind me, I heard Brianna ask Dominic, Think she'll ever talk to them again? That's up to them, he replied, and whether they finally understand, it wasn't about revenge. He was right. It was never about revenge. It was about consequences, about choices, about finally being free to build my own future without their shadow hanging over it. At the gate, I sent one final text, not to my family, but to myself. A screenshot of my original college fund statement showing zero balance side by side with my current accounts. The caption read, They wanted me to bankroll her fantasy. Turns out I was investing in something else entirely. Now boarding for London, the gate agent called. I stepped forward, passport in hand, leaving behind the wreckage of their choices and the triumph of mine. Ahead lay a future they couldn't touch, couldn't steal, couldn't manipulate. My phone buzzed one last time. Charlie, I understand now. What we did, what I did, if you ever want to talk. I didn't delete it, didn't respond, just powered off my phone and boarded the plane. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about building yourself so well that their destruction becomes irrelevant. As the plane took off, I smiled. They wanted me to invest in Charlie's future. I invested in justice instead. And the returns? Better than any influencer could promise.